Good evening, this is Mr. Wintermelon, and in the previous video we have learned about the two types of respiration. In aerobic respiration, the cell breaks down glucose in the presence of oxygen. We have already learned how does the cell obtain the glucose. So in the next few video, we will learn how does the cell obtain the oxygen. And we will start off the journey with the anatomy of our respiratory system. So in this video, you'll learn how to identify on diagram the name of larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, as well as associated capillaries. The last part on capillaries, I don't really think there's a name assigned to the capillaries. You just need to know that the capillaries surround the alveoli. You will learn what is alveoli later. Then you are going to state and describe the role of the exchange surface of the alveoli. So just a short intro before we begin with anatomy of our respiratory system. We have learned in the previous video about respiration. Oxygen is needed for respiration. But how did our body acquire them? It is first through breathing as well as gas exchange. And to allow breathing, we must first understand our respiratory system. Oxygen as well as other gases will enter our respiratory system through our nose before moving into larynx. Larynx, another name for it is our voice box, so you can easily identify where is it. It is just underneath our epiglottis. After larynx, it will enter our trachea. Another name for trachea is windpipe. Then it will reach bronchus. The plural is bronchi. The structure of bronchus and trachea, they are similar. Then the bronchus will extend into small little bronchioles, and its plural is just bronchus. And at the end of bronchus, we have our alveoli. Alveoli is this air sac that is at the end of bronchiole, and they are in the shape of grapes. So you can see that the grapes, and you compare with the diagram of alveoli, they are similar. They are numerous and they are surrounded by capillary. The nasal cavity, or the area inside our nose, is not really inside your syllabus, so it's more for your info. They are hair and mucus, and their purpose is to trap foreign particles to prevent them from even entering our respiratory system. It is also there to make the passageway moist, and there are sensory cells to detect harmful chemical, so as to make us sneeze or cough. After the larynx, the air will travel through the trachea. So this is how it looks like. Nothing much on the exterior surface, but what is important is what is inside, because you do have to know the function of cilia. There are gland cells inside our trachea that secrete mucus. The mucus will help to trap dust particles as well as bacteria, while the important cilia will help to sweep the dust particle upward to our pharynx. So some of you might realize that your mucus and your phlegm actually look similar, because your phlegm is actually mucus. It is just cilia sweeping them up, then we pull out our mucus. So another look at this, you can see the cilia that is lining our trachea. There are many fine cilia in our trachea which sweep the mucus up. And the function of mucus is to trap dust as well as bacteria. Continuing with our journey, the trachea divides into bronchi, and the bronchus will further branch off into numerous bronchioles. And at the end of each bronchioles, like I mentioned, there's a cluster of air sac known as the alveoli. And our focus will be on alveoli as they are the site of gas exchange. So for structure of alveoli, the wall of our alveoli are moist. There's a thin layer of moist. They are very thin, which is 1 cell thick, and they are well supplied with blood vessel. So how does this translate into their function? As the alveoli are numerous, this will increase the surface area for gas exchange. The wall of alveoli is 1 cell thick. Again, it is same as villi. The wall of villi is 1 cell thick. It is not the villi is 1 cell thick. Remember, it's the wall, not the alveoli is 1 cell thick. Saying alveoli is 1 cell thick is wrong. So since the wall is only 1 cell thick, there's a short diffusion distance, thus allows rapid exchange of gas. The thin layer of moist on the surface allows gas to dissolve in it, because they must be first dissolved before they can diffuse into the blood capillary. And lastly, alveoli is richly supplied with blood capillary. This is to help to maintain a steep concentration gradient to allow effective gas exchange. So this will be all for this video on the anatomy of our respiratory system, as well as the adaptation of alveoli. And if you ask me, the part which requires more understanding is the alveoli part. The anatomy labeling is just 3 marks. Just make sure you know the name. Larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli. LTBBA.